canal control. The control will be better.
There's a fire emergency across southern Europe. In Croatia, Greece, and Spain. As fires sear the hills, inside the cities, this summer is merciless. From the fountains of Rome,
I drink water, like I've drink about 6 of these since morning.
To the approaches to the Acropolis. Tourists and workers alike seek relief. But this isn't merely a European crisis.
What is unusual, I would say, is the simultaneous occurrence of heat waves around the world. We've always seen a heat wave here and there during summer. What's different now is that we're seeing heat waves all around the globe at the same time. We've had a very major heat wave in South Asia a couple of weeks ago, with records being broken. We had Beijing set its all-time June temperature record with 41 degrees Celsius in just a couple of weeks ago. Just now we're having a severe heat wave in the southern US and Texas.
The hottest place on Earth this week is in California's Mojave Desert.
Hello from Death Valley National Park in America. It's 5:40 in the afternoon and 123 degrees Fahrenheit. It's cooled down already.
Abby Wines works in the Furnace Creek Visitors Centre.
It's very much like putting your head into an oven with a full fan of that heat coming towards you. So maybe more like putting your head inside a hairdryer.
Life here is unsustainable.
Oh, you can't exist outside for long periods of time when it's that hot. Our own safety policy for the National Park Service here in Death Valley National Park is that when it's above 120 degrees Fahrenheit, so above 49 degrees Celsius, we don't allow our employees to work for more than 10 minutes outside without taking the rest of the hour for a break inside a car with air conditioning.
Death Valley's rangers can't shelter all the time because the extreme temperatures attract some overheated people.
Down to our First Amendment area.
It gets pretty hot in Las Vegas, but never 120. When I realized it was going to be over 120, I came out the first day.
The record high for Death Valley, 56.6 Celsius, was a century ago. But the valley is getting hotter. Abby, what is this extended heatwave doing to the debate in America about climate change?
I think it's a lot easier to believe in climate change when it's hot than when it's cold.
Scientists have calculated that just with 1 degree of global warming, we're already making extreme heat waves 5 times as frequent. So, for example, a heat wave that would have occurred once every 50 years is now occurring once every 10 years. And at the same time is being more intense. So that's how extreme heat values are being broken so easily now.
A couple of hours drive to the east in Las Vegas, a German-Australian expert on sustainable buildings tries to stay hydrated on the city's famous strip.
At the moment we have quadrupled, we have 4 times the normal mortality rate. We have tourists yesterday collapsing on the strip because they didn't carry water.
Keeping his cool isn't easy. The University of Nevada's Stefan Lehman has been warning for decades that our cities are unprepared for heat like this.
We need to completely rethink architecture and the built environment. How do we provide continuous shade for pedestrians, but also how do we build roofs that reflect the solar radiation so the city doesn't become a baking oven, it doesn't store and trap the heat and absorb it.
Las Vegas, like Australian cities, is utterly dependent on air conditioning.
But at the moment, it doesn't go below 33 degrees Celsius. It's not really cooling down enough anymore. So we have a significant urban heat island.
Stefan Lehman says there are reasonably simple ways to cool the suburbs, like white roofs that reflect the heat and extensive tree planting.
For instance, planting urban forests, urban growth with native tree species that need less water, less thirsty, but have large leaves, so they provide a lot of shade. So you have a big shadow under the crown of the tree. That's a very good way to also cool down the surface underneath. And I mean, you feel it yourself when you walk over a black asphalt car park.
These northern extremes could be mirrored this summer in Australia.
The heatwave in the Northern Hemisphere has no direct implications for us right now, but it does have a common cause. And in El Nino years, the global temperature tends to spike upwards. And so we would see more heat waves in the Northern Hemisphere, and then when our summer rolls around, tend to see more heat waves in Australia as well.
The United Nations meteorological arm says there's a 90% probability of El Nino in the second half of this year.
What it does is tends to tilt the odds towards hotter and drier, so you can think of it as loading a dice, and so we now have one face for the dice which is effectively drier, hotter, and we still have to roll the dice so we don't get a hot dry year every time, but it certainly increases the chances that we do.